Hello, and welcome to What is Art Live from the Apocalypse.
From the apocalypse.
We just got in from San Francisco, and it is absolute chaos and mayhem. We are so happy all of you other survivors could join us here at the Rosa Preserve. We are creating a safe house. There is word that they're going to...
It's a literal preserve.
A literal preserve at this juncture in time. There's word that they'll be actually blowing up the Golden Gate Bridge within an hour or so.
The bridge will blow.
It will blow.
If you can make it out here in time, if you're watching live from home, from television, please come out to the diRosa Preserve.
So there's not really any clear reports about what's going on. I mean, I live in the Tenderloin.
I do too, actually.
At first, I thought there was just like a strong batch of dope floating around or something, but
it kind of seemed like business as usual, maybe amped up a tiny bit.
Yeah, and then someone was just eating someone else.
They're eating each other.
They're eating each other in San Francisco, folks. And I mean, I know it's an area of concentrated debauchery, but this is just too goddamn much.
Yeah, it's gone too far. You can see live footage behind us, live footage from the streets of San Francisco.
From the streets of San Francisco, it is mayhem. Sodom and Gomorrah is put to total shame.
We have some artists in the crowd. It is What is Art Live.
Hey, the show must go on, apocalypse or no apocalypse.
That's
and
right.
It is What is Art Live, and we have come to a spot that is a refuge for artists on normal days, never mind end days. And so we are going to, over the course of the show, talk to artists, talk to them about the apocalypse. I think some of them have some things prepared, some ideas and kind of just energies and emotions.
That's right, artists. They're on the pulse of things.
They are
immediately.
On the pulse of things, even when those things have no pulse. All right, well, the first guest we have here who we'd like to have speak with us is an artist by the name of Anthony DeSenza.
Anthony DeSenza.
So if Anthony can come up right now and talk to us, we'd love to hear his take on exactly what's going on.
Quite relaxed.
I'm very relaxed.
During the apocalypse. Why? Are you happy?
I'm not unhappy.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
Well, is it the apocalypse? It seems like the apocalypse. It seems very dire, but maybe that's just our point of view, our very human-centric point of view. And we could think of it as the zombie apocalypse, but maybe it's the dawn of the zombie era. So perhaps it's a human apocalypse for us, but the start of a new age for a new life form.
But
a zombie sympathizer.
Are you a sympathizer?
Well, why is the zombie such an object of fear and dread?
You see, the thing about the zombie as a species is it's actually an unsustainable creature because the zombies can't feed on each other, and as far as we know, they're not evolving to be able to feed on animal flesh, so lest they take over and somehow figure out how to no longer be zombies, it's unsustainable. Once everyone's zombified, there'll be no more food, and the entire species will just wipe itself out.
What happens when we're all gone?
That's a very interesting point, and I think none of us can really say what will happen when the last human is gone and the Earth is populated by zombies. But it's possible that at that point the next stage will kick in, and we'll see some new emergent behavior in a completely zombie world.
Zombie evolution.
Why not?
All right, as an artist, what do you think zombie art might possibly look like? Do you think that there's a role for such a kind of, art, I mean, just as a general kind of byproduct as culture of excess art, do you think that there could even exist such a thing in a zombie world?
Zombie art.
One way to look at it is that perhaps the zombie is a more evolved creature, and perhaps they've moved past the need for activities such as art.
Forget about art.
Forget about art in a zombie world.
Screw it.
Well, zombies don't operate with a marketplace. They're fundamentally a non-capitalist organization. They're so non-hierarchical. How would zombies even know or care what was good art versus bad art?
I haven't talked to any zombies yet, but
I hope never to.
But we don't want to die. They're after us.
Well, the Neanderthals didn't want to die, but we wouldn't be here. Everything is part of a cycle, and while the prospect of our imminent demise is not necessarily appealing or desirable, we have to look at things with a certain humility and understand that we were never meant to be here indefinitely.
Excuse me, I got a little overeager.
It's the apocalypse.
Do you think
Go
that
wild.
possibly the way that in ancient cultures the idea of art detached from the idea of craft, the idea of the object that has no function as opposed to the object that's functional and then decorated, do you think there's even space for that in a zombie world? I mean, are we going to lose the ability to use tools altogether, thus not even creating the need for craft? Or what do you foresee in at least the time that zombies could sustain themselves emerging?
Well, I think if you look at some documentation of prior zombie outbreaks or eruptions, such as in Romero's documentary Land of the Dead, having had enough space to begin to develop societal structures, we saw them remembering old roles and old behavior. I think it's just a question of time.
Okay, one last thing. If everyone's coming back from the dead, who would be your favorite zombie artist to meet?
Definitely Andy Warhol. Zombie Andy Warhol. I expect him to actually once again take his place at the vanguard of the arts in that zombie world.
Andy Warhol, zombie artist. Thank you, Anthony DeSenza. Great talking with you. Gave us a lot to think about. Whoa. Welcome back to What is Art Live from the Apocalypse.
Your post-apocalyptic hosts, Tim Sullivan
and Chris Carenti. Coming up next, Johanna Hothig and Chris Brown.
So what do you have going on here? Is this some sort of zombie infection prevention device, or?
I don't know. I feel like I might need one of those.
And I know how to be impatient. My name is Oras, and this is the hour of happiness.
We have some sort of apocalyptic visionary amongst us?
I think so. I don't know. Whatever she's wearing, I feel like maybe I want one of those things. I feel like that might help me.
This seems like it might help us. This seems like a desirable thing she has going on.
It's like a sort of drain pipe saxophone. I'm getting freaking out.
I'm kind of getting aroused.
Refuse to go underground. So I put on this mask.
Pages have televisions on them.
She threw it at me.
I don't think she likes our TV show.
I mean, we're pretty much Little League compared to this.
I think so. This is serious.
Your frustration is real.
Your frustration.
You around in circles below the surface. You have no need for words and nothing urgent to articulate. Hate,
Guess
love,
we should wait and see.
envy were all just a phantom itch, but now the flat line has begun to spike.
I think we should arm ourselves.
The concrete is hard underneath your feet. The chain link, hot to touch.
I just want to do what she wants.
Johanna!
Yes.
Johanna! You blew our minds. You're not a zombie.
I'm Tom.
You're a zombie
My name is Oras. Oras.
hunter.
Oras.
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 What is Art Live from the Apocalypse? This is Tim Sullivan. Unfortunately, we have lost Chris Carenti. We had a zombie attack, as many of you have seen, in the preserve. A zombie got in. We're working on building up the walls, keeping people out. We have people working on this. Artists are on the spot, helping us out, fixing this up. Someone who has not yet eaten. His brains are fully intact. Rob Keller. Come on up, Rob. So thank you for taking the gun, pulling up arms. We need them. What do you have to talk to us about tonight on the dawn of the apocalypse?
I'm here to talk about the bee apocalypse. I'm a sustainable beekeeper, and we are seeing bees have their own apocalypse. Colony collapse disorder.
Could this be part of it?
There are people that believe that this is the apocalypse, the bees collapsing, because in Scripture it says that once the apocalypse comes, all there will be is wine and olive oil, the two fruits that bees don't pollinate.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really looked to the Bible to figure out what was going to happen in the future. But if you believe in that stuff, sure, yeah, go for it. I'll go for it.
Oh, I do. People.
Oh my God! It's Chris Carenti. You're back. Is he all right? Are you okay? Have you been infected?
I've never killed anything before. I mean, I'm a vegan.
I'm sorry, I know. We were all vegans before this. Chris, I'm really happy to see you back. You don't look so great. We're talking to Rob Keller here about the bee apocalypse. Killer bees.
No, not killer bees, just the apocalypse. They're all dying. I guess what's happening is they're just leaving the hive and then they don't come home.
It's humans, maybe. Are we doing this to the bees? It's really hard for me to care about the bees right now during this, but...
Zombies.
Zombies. All the bees.
Okay.
So, we're seeing mass die-off of the bees the same way that you're seeing mass die-off of humans in San Francisco. But probably at about the same pace, I would guess. It's fast and furious. What you're hearing on the news, what you're seeing on, the newspapers, all that stuff is very real.
Things are going to be okay.
No, they're not.
Coming up next is Scott Kildall. Killed all. He has some information for us, and I think it's some information that could be helpful for us all during this apocalypse.
So what I'm going to present to you today is some research and art activity I did about seagulls. So you guys should prepare for a little bit of science.
We need some scientists here. It's all a bunch of artists. Cue the tape.
What you see here is a blueprint for that I painted. It's for a device called the Seagull Translator. The invention doesn't yet exist. It exists in blueprint form only. But seagulls turns out have their own language. Scientists at Johns Hopkins University have recently discovered that seagulls have 3 different types of vocal iterations. All right, the first vocal iteration is a caw sound. It's kind of like a caw with a descending pitch, like you see here. Like caw, caw, caw. Like caw, caw. And from zombies, oh, oh, oh. The second one is a caw sound. It's more like a sharp bark. Like caw, 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 caw. Or ah, 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 ah. It's a direct translation. Finally, we have a caw sound, which is a longer form of the bark. Caw, caw, caw. And as a zombie might do it, ah, ah, ah. Now, the frequency of these phonemes is where it gets interesting. The caw sound is the most frequent, or as a zombie would say, ah, ah, ah. And there are building blocks to larger linguistic structures. As you might expect, there's an uneven distribution of these. Each phoneme has a different length, and they're combined into structural units that last approximately 2 seconds long. The phonemes make up patterns which are indistinguishable to a casual listener. Each combination consists of 3 to 5 phonemes. The complete seagull, or zombie vocabulary, is 28 phrases based on these 3 original sounds. The most common phrase in seagull language is a signal for identification. Essentially, what I've translated to mean, I am here. It is a series of the short caw sounds, like caw, 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 or ah, 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 ah. And here is something that you guys have seen before, the seagull stealing someone's ice cream cone, and it's something I've personally encountered. And this corresponds to a caw, caw, caw sound. It's a general indicator of possession, what I jokingly call, this is mine. And in zombie, ah, ah, ah. This is a Far Side cartoon. Caption, can't see it right now, which says, how birds see the world. I used to imagine the seagulls would conspire to shit on people's heads. However, in reality, this is not the case. What seagulls actually try to do is they try to help each other out with warning and danger calls. They distinguish between threats on the ground and threats in the air, exhibiting fundamental flock survival traits, just like zombies would. As we all know, seagulls, and zombies are constantly looking for food. They have a few phonemic phrases to express discoveries. What is amazing is they share the information to encourage group survival, rather than just acting on their own behalf. There's also a couple of distress cries, such as ka-ka-ka-ka and ka-ka-ka-ka, which support the idea that seagulls are self-aware like dolphins and chimpanzees. Seagulls also have a few ways to express movement and direction. There's no up, down, right, or left, but there is an inside and outside, as well as home. Home does not translate to zombies. Finally, there's also 3 placeholder phrases which mean nothing whatsoever. They're just used to scare people or do other things. Scientists don't even know why those are there, but they may be a hardwired linguistic structure. Seagulls combine all 28 phrases to achieve some sort of perpetual meaning. When in groups, they're constantly reporting what they're experiencing to the rest of the flock. Observation number 1, seagulls are not capable of deceit. In the case of finding food, even though it means less for them as individuals, they will report such finds to the group. This suggests a specialized brain circuitry for cooperation. Observation number 2, as far as the language goes, there appears to be no discernible structure. Unlike most other group and animal behavior, there is no alpha seagull. No one is in charge. It is chaotic. The seagulls simply listen to the total soundscape and then make decisions accordingly. Some conclusions about seagulls. Seagull language, or what we call Seagalian, is quite sophisticated, especially for a bird. While seagulls tend not to improvise or adapt the language itself, unlike primates, the fact that they have a language at all gives them flexibility as a species. So I want you to consider this on this last video, the seagull and how it's come to inhabit our seaports, our cities, and even our landfills. Thank you.
Welcome back to What is Art Live from the Apocalypse. Chris Carenti, he has been infected. I hate to say it. I need to calm him down. I keep having to calm him down with human brain. Sadly, we have slices of human brain from some of our fellow artists that have fallen. All right, calm down. Maybe we can learn a little bit about these zombies. We've learned a lot from our guests. Maybe we can learn from a live zombie here in the studio. We also have a couple guests from the audience. We have Maxine and Internet Jesus. Why don't you come on up? Brains is right. Don't touch those. Those are for Chris. We need to calm him down. We need to keep him calm. All right, you guys just made it over across the bridge. And I want everyone to know out there, the bridge has blown. We've blown up the Golden Gate Bridge. If you want to come over, you have to do it by boat. You have to swim. I don't know how you're going to do it. Thankfully, you've both come over. Internet Jesus. The Golden Gate Bridge, that's right.
Why don't we come over the Bay Bridge?
Whoever's out there, get over to the Bay Bridge and blow that damn thing up.
And the Richmond Bridge.
And that Richmond Bridge. Forget about that little thing. All right. How are you two coping?
Well, I'm back again yet from the internet.
Maxine.
I remember what a zombie is. It came in a nice glass about this tall. It was about this big around. It was about this tall. It had little green things on it.
Yeah.
And
I
the
wish
more,
that was the zombie apocalypse we were dealing with right now.
And the more you associated with them, the more you became one of the group. Uh-huh.
Is that what it is, Chris? Too many zombies? Internet Jesus, you're holding a gun. Does Internet Jesus hold a gun? Does he use a gun?
I use a mouse. Or a microphone. A Macintosh microphone.
Tell us more, Internet Jesus.
Well, as you know, the PC and Mac war has been going on for many years. Chris, what do you prefer, Macintosh or PC?
PC?
Oh,
Yeah,
poor
hold that.
man.
Watch out.
Poor man.
I know. We have him tied down. Don't let that tactic doesn't mean anything. He's tried this before. These zombies are smarter than we thought they were. All right. back to some of the questions that we ask on What is Art Live. If there was an artist that came back from the dead, Internet Jesus, as a zombie, which one would you like to talk to and interact with?
Ooh, well, if Joseph Boys was a zombie with his wolves at the same time, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down to see him talk as a zombie with his zombie wolf friends.
Zombie wolves. That would be pretty cool. I agree. What is the book you have here with you? It looks like an old book. Is this the Bible?
It is the History of the United States according to 1897. And I would very much like to enlighten you with some text about, I guess, the Native Americans living an outdoor life and depending for daily food not so much on the maize they raised as on the fish they caught, the animals they killed. The Indians were most expert woodsmen. They were swift of foot, quick-witted, keen-sighted, and most patient of hunger, fatigue, and cold, unlike Chris. White men were amazed at the rapidity with which the Indian followed the most obscure trail over the most difficult ground, at the most perfection with which he initiated the bark of the wolf, the hoot of the owl, the call of the moose, and at the cat-like tread with which he walked over beds of autumn leaves to the side of the grazing deer. Hey, Chris, could you relate to a Native American from the past being wiped out by the white man? I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh my God, there's more zombies breaking in. Please, take up arms. Internet Jesus, we need you. Sorry about that. We had another zombie break-in. I'm happy to say Internet Jesus is fine. I'm sorry about Maxine, though. We put her down before she would turn into a zombie. Chris is somewhat subdued again. I'm keeping him on as my co-host, holding him back with the human brain as much as we have. Sorry, Maxine, but we had to do it. Up next, we have some guests from the audience. Kata and Teresa. Come on up, ladies. Welcome, ladies. How are you coping? How are things going?
Well, actually, I think we should give zombies a chance.
That reminds me of a song, right? How did that go again? How did that go?
All we are saying is give zombies a chance. All we are saying is give zombies a chance.
Chris is feeling you.
I know,
Chris is
he
feeling
likes it. You know, he's just misunderstood.
I've just flown in, actually, I'm so sorry, from London. And
yes, we saw the airplane out there, actually. I'm sorry about it.
Well,
so I'm happy that you were able to survive it.
back
It was a rough ride.
helicoptered in.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't you. All right. Well,
But it's terrible what's happening. It's absolutely terrible. But I think that it's very important to understand that zombies have a lust for life, shall we say, that and does need to express itself. And I think that the first gentleman that you spoke to this evening is completely off in that they do need to express themselves, and art will be seen, and you will be surprised.
Well, I have a slightly different opinion. I think that the zombie state is sort of a state where, you know, it's very simplified. You don't have to think too much. You have a certain purpose in life, you know. You don't have to make choices. You don't have to figure out what to wear, you know. And you don't have to think about, you know, what art means. You know, you don't have to think at all. You know?
easier, simpler
An
life,
easier,
maybe, for all
simpler,
of us.
you know, it's the ultimate be here now.
Sort of a zen.
A zen, yes. Now, the other thing is I'm not sure exactly how the zombie thing works. I mean, if you just let them bite you, do you become a zombie, and then you don't have to think about anything either, right?
Maybe you choose to
Like
give
a
in
vampire,
if you would like to.
Like you could live forever, you know? I mean, you know, who knows until you've tried it.
I feel you. Well, Chris Carenti here, he's an artist, and I could not imagine him not making art. He's always making art. And so maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. And let's see. Let's try to hear from him. Chris, in your state, will you continue to make art? Is there a place for zombie art? I think that could be a yes.
Yes. It's going to happen. You'll see.
Nothing to worry about, see? Nothing.
Teresa and Katya, thank you. Any last words before you go back to the studio audience?
All we are saying is give zombies a chance. All we are saying is give zombies a chance.
Audience. You're in good hands, Chris. You're in good hands. All right, welcome back to What is Art Live from the Apocalypse. We have more guests. Anyone out there, anyone watching, we're looking for an antidote. diRosa Preserve. This is where we are. Next up, we have a tutorial that could save your life with Jenna Lee Harmon and her model, Joshua Kit Clayton. Come on up, guys. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Today I want to show you guys how to look like a zombie. And let's just get started. So I have Joshua today, and he's a great model. It's really important that you have hollow cheeks for this. If you have bigger cheeks, it's just not going to really work. You don't want to look that full. You really want to look hollow and dead. So anyways, what I have for you today is I have some liquid latex, but a great alternative to this would be some Elmer's glue. If you're into crafting at all, that would also work. So let's get started.
Yeah, please let them know at-home remedies. Many of them at home might not have some of these materials, so that's wonderful.
And if you don't have them, I'm just sorry, but, the world is going to get a lot smaller. So anyways, you want to pour a little bit of this, and you want to take a brush. You want to just dab it in the liquid latex, and then you're going to coat the face, like so. And also, if you have napkins at home, or if you have toilet paper, which hopefully you do, if you have 2-ply toilet paper, it's better to separate the ply and use 1 ply. So there you go. And then you want to take a little bit more liquid latex, and you're going to put that on top of the toilet paper. And this will dry relatively fast. And what you're going to be doing is once it's dry, is you're going to separate the tissue like so and create little skin that's falling off of your face. And what I've done right here is I've already set this up for you. Now, in terms of a color palette, you really want to maintain greens, blacks, reds, and there's different techniques. There's definitely impressionists, abstracts, modernists, and my favorite abject. But everyone has their own technique, and this is it. It's very simple. You can do just the face. You can also do your shoulder. You can do your arm. You can do full body.
Oh no! Thank you for coming out to What is Art Live from the Apocalypse.